Welcome to Season 3 of The Aggregate, narrative coatings from around the globe. It's a diverse assembly of designers, architects, artists, and builders from our vast world whose experiences, stories, and lessons combine to make the grandiose plaster genre feel just a little smaller. Our show isn't just about triumphs and tragedies. Moreover, it's about insight, takeaways, and ultimately growth. These factual fables blend to storied histories that audibly enhance the trade, slowly passing down time-honored traditions amongst a fast and fictional digital era. This isn't artificial intelligence. Instead, we're celebrating actual intelligence. So take a third breath as New Age Artisans coats the planet and changes the standards of what it means to educate, empower, and create. I'm your host, Jeremy Mistretta, along with my friend on the dials, Vincent Ryan, and welcome to our show. All right, welcome back to the party, everybody. How's it all going today? It's Season 3, Episode 2, right? Yeah. Hopefully this finds you well, and you're enjoying the countdown to the end of 2025. It's been quite a fun year so far, New Age Artisans. I've had quite a few visitors pop into our showroom and warehouse over the past few months, all from different walks of life. Our mission here has been to share the love of plaster with the world. It's kind of become a bit of a, if you build it, they will come field of dreams type mentality. If you're new here, take a spin back through the end of Season 1. You can hear the turmoil in my voice as I describe in detail broken water lines, ruptured gas lines, and large-scale remodels to get our facility up and running. And we definitely built it through the School of Hard Knocks. And you, the plaster people, have shown up in full support of the mission. It's been great to witness the excitement as a new person joins the plaster portal and then comes to a class. Our virtual options are nice, but it's the human connection that we really love. I'm really forever smitten when I meet a new face in our facility and I see the joy of discovery. And the epiphany of new and horizontal dawns grace the faces of our community. What was once kind of a far-reaching idea soon becomes a reality. And the promise of plaster creates smiles for days. As certain skills become solidified and newer ones are developed. And it's kind of this creative outlet that's really kept me going. We just keep growing and growing, and I've been enjoying the ride. The world is crazy. It kind of seems to spin faster and faster every day. And it's really difficult to not fall victim to the clickbait that exists on our news platforms. And try as I may, I fall victim by default to the shortly timed clips, the reels, and all the ads on the internet. But it's not just me. I think a lot of us are caught up in it. The classes, they give us opportunity to pause and hone our craft and our feelings. Because when we step onto job sites, it's 0 to 100 all day, every day. As I mentioned earlier, the year's winding down and everyone's getting antsy to finish their projects. Our installation team is the strongest it's ever been. The feelings and the vibe that roll through the crews are helping us push through some hard and demanding times on site. Homeowners push the contractors to finish, and in turn, the force flows downhill to the trades. 5-year projects choke and funnel into a few short weeks of finished work. Super frustrating, and I know there's a better way. Recently, I was told by a project manager that he wanted us to come up and knock out a few areas to quote-unquote get ahead. And in the world of high-end construction, especially at the finish stage, I don't think that there's any way to get ahead. I consider even trying to be a bit of a fool's errand. In fact, it's going to only put us farther behind. Any work we do is going to get marred by other subs, and the proverbial cart is going to go right in front of the horse, ultimately flawing the overall building envelope. And here, where we are in Southwest Montana, we're in such a rush. We pushed through to finish, only to backtrack weeks later, putting us farther behind than if we did it right the first time. And it begs the almighty question. What is right? Is fast right? Is quality right? Is an affordable project right? And here to make this conversation right is our friend Joelle Huntsberry, a plaster restoration expert from Virginia, who I think has seen it all. So what's right today, my friend? How you doing?
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. You doing well?
Yeah, I am. Winter's here, so I feel like I start to slow down in the wintertime, as I imagine most trades do. Things get a little slower, days get a little shorter. In holiday season, there's always a bunch of, time off, which I think is kind of nice. It's like hibernation.
It's hibernation, yeah. And it's crazy. We were talking the other day. It's like a friend of mine about work, and I was like, nothing happens between the hours and the dates of pretty much Thanksgiving and Christmas, New Year's. Nothing
we kind of need it, though. I think we need it. It's almost like because springtime comes and you just are hitting the ground running, running all the way through summer and fall, tying up loose ends. And it's almost like you need a little bit of a hibernation phase to be stronger next year. I really think that cycle, at least it works with me. For sure. That's
good. That's good that it works with you. Due to reasons outside of my control, it doesn't work with me.
No.
But we'll get into that later.
I do feel lucky.
Yeah. We can talk about that offline, about all my psychosis.
No.
Yeah. For everyone out there in listener land, we get a lot of requests from guests, especially from a lot of listeners, and even past guests really want some folks to be guests on a new season. And Joelle has been one of these guests that's been continually asked for throughout our subsequent seasons. And because I know she's a bit elusive, kind of hangs back, I haven't pushed the idea. But this off season, her name popped up not once, but twice. And because I happen to have inside information from some of her friends that she was indeed online again for just a few days, I made my strike. And once she said yes, I kept the pressure on. I didn't let go. I know she immerses herself into projects wholeheartedly, almost forensically studying their components and restoring them back to their original and right condition. There's really no time for distraction. This is dedicated work, and it's carried out by someone who cannot and will not be hurried, because she is doing it the right way, at least in my opinion. So take your timelines and push them aside. Take your budgets, throw them away. You can't have them all. When you hire Joelle, you get quality. To understand this, though, I think we need to understand Joelle as a person. So how about a little Q&A?
Okay.
All right. You ready to roll?
I am. Yep.
We'll see where the wind blows us.
Okay.
So you're in Virginia now, right?
Yeah. I am.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where did you grow up?
So I kind of grew up a little bit in the Midwest in Iowa, maybe a little bit, but then moved to West Virginia. And that's kind of where everything kind of started, I would say, in West Virginia. It's magical out there. It's so pretty. It's wild. There's tons of resources all around you. There's clay everywhere you go, and just rocks everywhere. You stack things and build forts, and just pretty magical place to be.
When did you move from Iowa to West Virginia?
I was 8 years old.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Pretty formative years.
Yeah. Got it. And then, was it like a parent's decision, obviously, at 8 to move? Did they get some jobs or something? It's
kind of complicated because I have 2 family systems, but My family is pretty much from here, from West Virginia. And that's kind of like the root. And then we all kind of ventured out from there. But I think everybody's kind of come back home too.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah. Almost heaven, West Virginia.
Oh, it's beautiful, especially in the springtime, the summer and the fall.
Yeah.
And winter if you like skiing.
Every Saturday morning, we have a local radio station here. It's a college radio station, KGOT. But they have Bluegrass Hour. But then before Bluegrass Hour, they have Americana Backroads live from Mountain Stage in West Virginia.
Yeah. Mountain Stage is the best.
It's the best. I love it. I love it. It's just, those people are so fun.
Mm-hmm.
They're so fun. And they're all just like, they get these people that are like these crazy, crazy stars that I'm like, how did you get Tyler Childers to come on Mountain Stage? How did you get Billy Strings to come on Mountain Stage? And
yeah. So there's a big bluegrass community in the area, and there's like Watermelon Pickers Fest, and a lot of those people are connected to the area. I think people in West Virginia, they'll meet in little cabins. Like I know a few of them that do this, and they just meet every week and just play bluegrass together.
Yeah.
And a lot of people got their start just playing in a little cabin with elders and just going from there. There's a whole bunch of communities of people that just kind of travel around or gather in the summertime. Music's pretty big here.
That's awesome. I was watching this clip, speaking of like quick little clips, little clickbait. Yeah. I saw this thing this morning on Instagram, and it was Billy Strings was on Howard Stern show, and he was talking about playing cards with Willie Nelson.
Dang.
And Willie Nelson, quote unquote, Howard was like, he stole $1,000 from you. And he's like, I didn't even know how to play poker. And I sat down and played with them, and he took it from me. And Willie Nelson's wife was like, you're stealing money from the kid. And Billy Strings is like, I would spend $1,000 all over again to get my ass kicked in a card game with Willie Nelson. He's like, you kidding me? I won.
That's a heck of a story to be able to tell.
Yeah, it was very cool. It was very cool. And I was like, I heard him say that. I was like, of course, they're Billy. Nicely done.
Yeah.
Yeah. You were talking about, formative years, getting your hands in the clay and stuff. Like, what did you do when you were younger?
When we were kids. Oh, so, we had a creek. We had a river nearby. There was like even a spring. It was kind of out in the middle of nowhere in Sugar Grove, West Virginia, and just on the mountainside. I don't know. You could do anything out there. It's almost your imagination, whatever you could imagine, you could go do. So there was tons of, little pathways we would make through the woods, little forts and stuff. When you're kids, anything can be a little fort, a little bush we would play around underneath, and anything.
You were like making, what kind of forts were you making? Were they mud huts?
I think, yeah. So we obviously didn't go crazy, but just anything you could to just be like this little secret nook. I always loved that. And I think one of those things when I read the book Eon Evans, like the hand sculpted house. I think that little nook idea, or just like this cozy little thing made from nature, was just so, ingrained in me from being a little girl, that I definitely think those are the things that started to catch my attention as I got older. Like, why can't we sculpt the world around us? That's the way we should do it, I think.
Definitely. Yeah. Hand chiseled.
Yeah.
Was it, that's when you were younger, but like, what about did you take that mentality and did you roll through like middle school and high school that way?
Yeah, I was pretty rebellious. So
nice. Party on.
I didn't like being told what to do. So it was almost like a way to not have to do that, I guess. I didn't have to, I used to skip school and go down and read books by the river. If that gives you any idea of what.
That was your level of rebellion?
Yeah. That was my level of rebellion.
Let's see. Vincent's laughing on the other side. Vincent's got different stories. I didn't get in a bunch of
trouble, but I think I've always kind of been a little anti-structure, because I think it gets rid of this beautiful creativity that people will just bring to the table if they are given room for it.
And I'd say that's probably the most common thread of every guest we've ever had on here. Like everyone's got like
we're all on the spectrum.
Yeah. Everyone's on the spectrum. We're all, it's just like, what level are we all on, And it's like, well, like everyone, there's like some sort of box that's presented in them, and they're like, yeah, fuck that. I'm getting out of the box. Like, where's the exit here?
I was pretty anti the box from the beginning, I think.
Yeah. Siggy Coco, a circle amongst squares.
She comes into this story.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, no spoiler alerts. I know a little bit about it, but not too much. Did you, did you do any like conventional high school things? You were down reading the book. Were you on the literature team, or were you like?
No, just so I will say, I was in a West Virginia school system.
Public school, private school?
Yeah, public school.
Yeah.
So I think while there's a lot of great things, there's some things that probably could be wrong, but it's just one of those things where I just didn't do well in that setting.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't enjoy it for sure. I didn't feel like that gave me, I don't know, any voice for anything.
That's probably the same for me too. I kind of like did all the things and like played soccer and volleyball and stuff and like did some track, but I was like, this sucks.
Yeah, I did do track. But I also didn't, I'd never really succumbed to peer pressure either. I just kind of thought it was silly, I guess. So I do feel lucky in that regard. Like I've always, whether it's crazy or not, just been very grounded and okay with who I was, and didn't feel like I wasn't enough in any type of situation. If there's peer pressure or anything like that, I always felt pretty grounded in what I was thinking. Nice. Maybe it's arrogance.
Good for you. You learned at a young age.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you go to college?
I didn't, actually. So
did you finish high school?
I did. Okay. Yeah, I did.
Nicely done.
Yep, I did. I didn't go to college. It's, I don't want to jump too far ahead in the story, but I could just get into it. How I got into all of this.
Yeah. Well, just, if I feel the need to steer, I'll turn the blinker on and be like, we're going left.
Yeah. Well, so when I was a little girl, I come from a really big family, like a big family. And there's 14 of us now, which is kind of crazy. But back then we had all been living in this like old farmhouse in West Virginia, and it caught on fire. So we basically didn't have anywhere to go. And that's kind of the start, I think, of this alternative way of building that I got into. Yeah.
So the house caught on fire. Did it burn?
It burned down.
Burned to the foundation?
The house burned. Yeah, the house burned down, and there were so many of us kids. There was a guy named Jim Underwood who worked for Habitat for Humanity in the area. So we're probably considered pretty low income. There's a bunch of kids. He was kind of the guy that said, "Hey, what can we build this family that isn't going to burn down and can house all of these kids?" Mm-hmm. And we built a straw bale house in the middle of the mountains in Sugar Grove, West Virginia.
And how old were you when that happened?
I was 11.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So that was your first go, with natural building.
Yeah. So the farmhouse didn't burn down completely. We had a group of volunteers that came in and kind of fixed it up so we could live in it while we were building our new house. Mm-hmm. So we were at the job site basically every day, climbing on scaffolding and jumping around and being crazy and getting to help with the volunteers and all of that. So it was a very unique experience for sure.
And then where did you guys harvest? It was the straw from right from the backyard?
Farmers. So that's one of the biggest things is the community the way that the community just surrounded us, I think, was one of the things that was the most impactful. I was talking to my husband this morning, and I was like, I think about that time, and I don't think I ever felt sadness, even in a loss of like, we lost everything that we had. I never remember feeling sad. I only remember everybody coming around us, bringing us new toys, bringing us, just making sure that we had what we needed. And that's the biggest takeaway, I think, or the biggest impact that made for me, alongside just starting to see this house built from the ground. I don't know if a lot of kids get to experience that, but there's something like, we build little forts in the woods, right, to create these little nooks and stuff for ourselves. So as a kid, to see something just kind of being built from nothing with materials that are from the woods, that a lot like those little huts and stuff that we were making, was pretty impactful also. So I think community support, rallying like that, and just seeing what you could do that's completely against that box that I probably fought already at that age, it just kind of triggered something. It was like, hey, what is this? I want to know more about it.
What is this? With the banjo playing in the background.
I like fiddle. I like the fiddle better.
Fiddle? Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I have like zero music. I can play like Hot Cross Buns and Mary Had a Little Lamb and
nice.
Free Falling.
I was trying to learn Happy Birthday on the piano. It didn't go so well.
Oh, man. Yeah. My dad's 80th birthday today.
No way.
Yeah. Happy birthday,
Dad.
Yeah, exactly. So you were 11. How long did it take to build the house with all the volunteers?
I don't think it was very long. To be honest, like, as far as details like that, I was a little kid, and I might even count up how old I was. I just don't remember. It's just one of those things that I didn't have a bunch of details, and the things that I do remember from it, and the few tiny pictures that I have, I think, are the things that speak to me of like why I think that's made a big difference and change, and probably one of the biggest impacts on why I chose to do this type of work in the first place.
Yeah. Nice. So you're 18 or 17, I would assume, and you're done with high school, and you got to make a decision, and you have this kind of impactful youth, poignant moments. Where do you go in June when it's June and it's like, okay, all my friends are like, I'm going to go to like Alabama and Roll Tide and like do all that stuff down south.
I know there was so much pressure. I remember my guidance counselor at the time when, they asked, like, his job is to help see where you want to go next. And I said, I just know I don't want to go to college. I want to go out and I want to build something with my hands, or just, I want to do something different. And he was like, are you sure? Like, are you sure that you don't want to do that? And I was like, I just knew myself enough to know that it would just be a waste and it would be the same experience for me. So I just started finding it myself. So there was no real like trade school. There was nothing already pre-made for the type of journey that I knew that I wanted to go on. So I was like, well, I can just make it myself. And I started sending out emails for internships. I started finding workshops, and I did find this really awesome little workshop down in North Carolina, and ended up signing up for like a week-long cob workshop. Mm-hmm. And I ended up going, and it was just a week long, and I ended up staying like the whole summer because I loved it so much. And then from there, just continuing on, just reaching out to people, being my own advocate for the things that I wanted to learn. I actually hated plastering in the beginning.
Really?
Yeah.
What didn't you like about it?
So my first plastering experience was at that little, cob workshop, and we were plastering with yogurt lids, and I was like, this sucks. I trying to plaster the entire exterior of this building with like these flexible yogurt lids. And I was like, no, I hate it. And I actually didn't start to enjoy it until a little bit later.
I mean, I've definitely like used a yogurt lid from time to time to like smooth out some plaster, mostly because it's like necessity is the mother of invention. Like I forgot all the things that I need, and there's a yogurt lid with like 4-day-old leftovers in there, and I'm going to cut it and make it work. But
no, we had little, I'm not going to put that person on blast, but we had these little, cut out tiny pieces of yogurt lid, and we were just like smearing it.
All clay plaster?
Yes. And I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever done. I hate plastering. I think that was my mentality for a little while. As I continued on in the natural building journey, I was like, I did not enjoy plaster.
Did you think about maybe getting a bigger yogurt lid?
Listen, I pretty much did that. We plastered that house with the yogurt lid, and I never wanted to touch plastering again, to be honest.
Yeah. So after you did that house, and then like, how did you stay involved in the natural building?
I just kept going with natural building. I went out to New Mexico for some internships, just whoever I could talk to. Once I kind of latch on to something, I get a little probably obsessive about it. That's just how my personality is. And so I just knew I wanted to keep learning, and wherever that took me is where I went, until I felt like confident enough that I could do it myself. And so I started building like a little clubhouse out in the woods, and started doing that, and then found somebody locally who was building a straw bale house at the time. And I sent them an email, Beth and Tim Reese. They're amazing and probably a really big part of my story also. And they were building this really awesome timber frame straw bale house on the Kakapen River. And then Siggy was teaching a workshop, and I was like, hey, I would love to come to this workshop. And I did.
What year was that?
Oh gosh. I was probably 19 years old.
I'm never going to ask a lady how old she is. So
35. I'm only 35.
35. Nice.
Yeah. But, so I would say I was 19. I was pretty fresh out of school.
And what did you learn from Siggy there? Like what sort of workshop things?
So it was like a whole series. It was really great because, again, it was this couple was like building this studio, an art studio on the river, and you get just to be there and see something made from nothing, but the materials around us was just felt like home in a way. Mm-hmm. So I started volunteering, like any workshop that I could, if I could provide help, if I could stay extra, if I could be there, it was just one of those things where I was like, I just couldn't leave it. And then, so I got to go, kind of like a work trade agreement. I wouldn't have to pay for the workshop if I helped. And so I started taking Siggy's workshops, and we did the earth and floor, and there was a plastering one, and I took that with her, and I told Siggy, I was like, I hate plastering. I hate it. And she was like, why? And I told her the yogurt lid story, went over everything, and she was like, oh no. And took me aside and just was like, just like, try this, and gave me my first Japanese trowel. And then I really started to love it. I think that was when I got the right tools. Then it was just like almost this instantaneous magic experience that from that moment, I think I was pretty hooked.
Yeah. The Japanese trowel really kind of changes the game for most people.
I don't use anything but Japanese trowel.
I don't actually use them nearly as much as other trowels, like a Kome or something, or a Marshalltown for like laying the mud on the wall.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like finishing time,
mm-hmm.
When it's like, you got to slick the wall out, you got to put like the last little like lick on it. I'm like,
yeah,
give me that thing. And
I know, from beginning to end for me. Now, if I'm running like a base coat or something, I'll get like my 24-inch trowel out, or flattening ceilings or something. And I haven't seen a 24-inch Japanese trowel, but if they make one, I'll make the switch. But everything is just Japanese.
See if we can talk to some people.
But oh my God. I would pay anything.
Kyle Holzhuter, are you listening?
Kyle, make me one.
Make one, buddy, or connect us with the people.
Yeah. And I have a whole bunch of different, styles and rigidity and just all of that stuff. And I think also the tools that you learn on are the tools that you know how to use. So I can use a super flexible trowel and still make a straight plumb wall just by how much pressure and all of those things. So totally. You just learn how to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, it's amazing. Like when we teach classes and stuff and people are like, how did you do that? And then they'll grab the trowel and they'll try it. And I'm like, it just takes practice. Like really,
it's your own journey. I couldn't tell you how to do it. We all will make our own little pathway with how obsessive we become with it, I think.
Definitely. And it's like at some point in time, the tool becomes like an extension of your body and you just know exactly what to do and when to do it and how to do it. And it's just like, there's no real way in which you can like describe to somebody like, this is how you count in color. Like it's just not a thing, but somehow you like figure it out,
And the flow you get into, or just that feeling of like, I love plastering. It is if I had $1 billion, I would still be doing exactly what I'm doing right now. It's meditative for me. It's the feeling that I get when I'm like working a wall, and I just couldn't imagine not doing it. So I always joke with the girls like that work with me that like the job site is my meditation studio.
Is this the Chica posse?
Well, I'm not really in that.
You're not in the Chica posse? I don't know. I don't even know about the Chica posse other than from Gabe, because he at times talks about the Chica posse.
So I just like to be in the background of things. I'm not in any clubs or anything. I just like meeting people as they are. Right. Like I don't want to be I don't want to be in a club or
ain't nobody going to put a label on Joelle.
Ain't nobody going to put a label on me. That's for sure. And it's not because it's, I don't want to get into it, but it's more of I think that everybody, when you start to put a label on something, rules come along with it.
Oh yeah.
And I don't want those rules put on me. So I just won't be involved in that system.
Sure.
Because I think, again, it gets rid of, and I'm not saying that the Chick Posse is like this. I think that's a really great thing that Siggy does. And she has invited me, but I'm also a mom. So taking some time away is a little bit hard. But I do like just the freedom of just being myself, having no titles, just bopping where I want to, whenever I want to, and that being okay. Like if I join a group, then there's almost like this feeling like of obligation that I have to be there. If I can't be, then I'll feel guilty. And I don't want any of those things.
None of those things will exist for you unless you want them to. And that's your own prerogative.
Exactly.
Yes. I like it. And I would say, I have spoken to a member or two of the Chica Posse. And what little I do know, I would assume that all of those ladies would have respect for your stance.
Oh yeah, so, I'm sure. Yeah. And I do love, being invited and stuff. I also just love being, free. All things.
Yeah. Well, we're having a good time. Push pause for a brief moment. Be free and talk online and let these guys listen to Vincent's beautiful voice on a commercial break. And then when we come back, I want to talk about all the things in and out of your everyday and what it means to put this plaster on the wall. Because the stuff I see online, I'm like, this is wild. This is crazy. No one else is doing this. So stay tuned, everybody.
Hey team, Vincent here. Many have mentioned that plaster is having a moment. At New Age Artisans, we're happy about that, and add that plaster is the moment. As our world continues to spin faster and faster every day, this magical medium offers innate and constant beauty and commands us to engage our senses, giving us greatest gift of all, presence. As we admire carved pieces, ornate cornices, rendered facades, and veneer coatings, the impossibility to encapsulate the word plaster into a simple and cohesive definition is evident. Each country, region, and township can have their own meanings, uses, and purposes for plaster. And as the public stares at shiny internet images, the demand for knowledge has become more prevalent, with architects, designers, builders, and homeowners being tasked with repairing, restoring, or recreating elements of this lost art form. Historical information is sparse and is the gateway to entrance into the trade. Sadly, these coveted secrets and tightly held techniques run the risk of extinction if not properly cataloged, and newcomers deserve ease of access into the field as a global labor force continues to dwindle. What if there was a place that preserved these techniques and fast-track gateway information that encouraged craft folk to stay engaged and thriving in the field? Well, that space is here, and it's called the Plaster Portal. With a small annual fee of just $75, baseline members to the Plaster Portal get access to tips and tricks that they can't find anywhere else online, as well as discounted pricing on New Age Artisans plaster blends in our growing global market. Are you wanting to further your plaster expertise? We're here for it. With a simple baseline account, subscribers can upgrade to our Artist Series classes, taught by niche and industry professionals from around the world. Learn cornice in situ and sculpture from the United Kingdom, Tattalact from Brazil, floral casting in the States, and drywall from an industry icon. But that's not it. We have more in the hopper as we're constantly creating new content. Sign up is fast, easy, and affordable. Head to newageartisans.com and click the Plaster Portal link to get started. We're gaining new members every day, and we can't wait to have you as part of our community. Before we get back to the show, here's a past guest with a quick hello.
Hi, this is Arielle from the Realness Preserve and Texas Cobb, and you're listening to The Aggregate.
Alrighty, we are back here, B-side, second side of the tape here, second set. Thank you, Arielle Crawford, Texas Cobb, Realness Preserve. Thanks for jumping in with us. If you guys haven't had a chance to listen to her episode, Keeping It Real, yeah, those guys are, they're kicking ass down there. Texas Cobb and the Realness Preserve. It's really cool. They've got their school moving along nicely. And those guys are, you want to talk about Field of Dreams. The amount of times folks come up here and tell me that they've been down there learning from them, or they're going to go down there and learn from them. I've got nothing but love for those two and that whole family. It's really pretty awesome to see what they're up to. So thanks, Arielle. Thanks for being a guest last year. And thanks for keeping the dream alive, keeping it real. We're back here with Joelle. And before the break, we were talking about, keeping her outside of the box. No such thing as a label. And one thing that I think is very, very different from what we do here. I mean, we work on kind of a similar rubber stamp house over and over again. I'm like barnwood, steel, stone, plaster. Throw a little shed roof in there for, some fun, make it seem modern. But it's like the mountain modern home, new construction, over and over and over again. It's fun, kind of. But, it's nice when you see something that's like wildly different. And a lot of these structures, Joelle, that you work on are anciently old, hundreds of years old. What's the oldest? Old. Yeah, what's the oldest structure you worked on?
Man, I want to say the oldest one that we've actually restored is probably the one that we're working on right now intermittently, and that's the 1734. But we have worked on recreations of 1616 and historic Jamestown, and places like that, but not full restorations.
Mm-hmm. kind of moving from the natural building world into the restoration world, how was that segue? And then how did your love of restoration begin?
Oh, so I think it's interesting because I started going out and learning natural building techniques, and having learned known about lime for a long time. I've always loved the people and the story. Like, that's the biggest thing for me. How, like, the story of what a building tells. And so historic building just felt like the next step for me, because I was pretty obsessed with, like, well, why did we start building like that? When did we start building like that? And all of those things just kind of fell into place, and it just stuck. And I just love it so much that I just kept going.
Nice. And then, like, what was like your first project?
My first
restoration project.
That's a hard question. First one, I worked for a local company for a little while before I ventured out on my own. And oh man, that is a hard one. It's gotta be, okay. My first, like, real, like, got to kind of blend the two worlds together was definitely James Madison's Montpelier, where I wasn't working for myself. I was more of like a consultant for another company at the time. And they came in and they wanted to do a complete renovation in their basement, and with an earthen floor. And they had known from a friend of theirs, I guess, that I had done that before. And that was the first time where I got to take a little bit of natural building and put it into the historic world. And I think so James Madison's Montpelier probably was the first big one.
Got it. And how old was that house?
Oh, man. I don't know the date on that.
I was stumping you with questions. This
wasn't
on the script.
You keep asking me these date questions, and that's probably the last thing I'm
last thing you get, yeah.
Dates and names.
James Madison Montpelier, we got that, but we don't know how old.
Yeah, so that one was a really neat one. So, and it was also the first time where I was like, well, hey, wait a second. Historic building is natural building. They are very similar. If not the same thing in a lot of ways. There's some differences, but as people in general, whether you're in England or anywhere around the world, we're using things around us to create spaces, right? So when they first came in 1616, what did they have? What were they using? How did they build their houses? So they had trees, they had clay, they could make bricks and just things like that. It is natural building in a way, you know?
Couldn't agree more. I was just sitting there in awe listening, because no one has ever put it like that.
Yeah. So I think those two things, yeah. So it's pretty neat, because in Colonial Williamsburg, you can go and you can make a brick out of clay. And there's some really awesome people in the Brickyard and just the people in general at Colonial Williamsburg that really try to just show the process of how they did things back then. But you could make a brick and then they'll fire it. They set up like these, you can see it. I could send you a picture of it, but they stack them together after letting them dry, and then they fire them themselves. And just like we would have done. So that is natural building. if somebody hired me right now to like build a house that way, like you're using materials that are around you to create the spaces that we live in. Mm-hmm. Things have definitely got more industrialized since, technology and stuff, but at its core, for sure.
I like that. I've never quite thought about it exactly like that. Everything doesn't have to be like, kind of these like hippie huts, like no offense to anybody else.
Like labels.
Yeah. You don't like labels. Yeah. We're not dealing with labels.
Labels, girl.
It's good.
Yeah. But that's when you get into like a little bit of some rules as far as like what materials, work together and what materials don't. So I think as long as you understand that basic foundation of like the materials that do work well together and the ones that don't, that's really the connecting factor.
Are all the homes that you work on currently, are they all labeled historic? I know you don't like labels, but.
Yeah, pretty much, I would say. I've gotten to work on some pretty awesome, I have a pretty neat resume, luckily. So I've gotten to work on Monticello at the Weaver's Cottage and historic Scotchtown, same thing. It's just a lot of these historic houses that once I realized that my skills transferred over to the historic world and I got to be involved. It almost felt like the most honorable thing ever, that I'm getting to restore something that somebody did 200 and some years ago. I couldn't imagine a more amazing thing to be a part of and to continue on that story. Cause it's not my story. It's it's theirs. And I get to just help make it last a little bit longer.
Do you know who Rachel Ragg is? She lives in England. She's on Instagram. She's quite the phenom on social media, but honestly, I know her in real life too, and social media is nothing compared to who she is in real life. She's incredible. But she works on the Lincoln Cathedral. And I met her at the Building Limes Forum, and she's a stonemason there. And it's pretty much the same thing she said. She was like, how amazing is it that I get to place my hand in history. And I get to take this good work that these craftsfolk did before me. And then I get to move in their direction and then be able to possibly put my own twist on it so that somebody else can carry on that tradition. She was like, every day I go to work and it's the best day ever.
I completely agree with her. For sure.
Check her out. Thanks, Rachel. Hope you're well.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your award, Crafts Person of the Year. I saw she just won the other day. Talk about labels. She won and she deserves it. She's incredible.
So they have a lot older buildings over there than we do here, for sure.
They got us beat by a little bit. They got a head start on us.
They did. They got a little bit of a head start. So it's not fair.
Yeah, they started forming some satellite offices over here. So, do you do a lot of research on the homes and the history in their materials beforehand? What does that look like?
Typically do. So I pretty much obsessively read as much as I can. The information that I retain, maybe not necessarily are the dates, but I do really like to learn the story of the house. Mm-hmm. But then the next thing that I get really obsessive about is the materials that I find. And so as far as the history side, I do rely a lot on architectural historians that there's a really great one, Willie Graham, who pretty much he just knows. I could just go take Willie around this house and he knows what time period the profile's from, where the moldings, he is a walking catalog of information as far as historic, history of when when certain things were done. But I really geek out with the material science. What are their plasters and their mortars made from? What, all of those things.
Forensic studies. At the Building Limes Forum, Philip Geishes did a beautiful presentation about, took some ancient plaster and dates. I'm sorry, Philip, if you're listening. I don't remember how old it was, but I believe it was 1600. And he literally went through and he took a cross section of this material and he started slicing it right there, on the overhead projector for everyone to see. And it was amazing seeing him label these pieces of aggregate and label these pieces of lime and identify the hair and exactly what kind of hair it was. It was really, really cool to see.
I know that guy.
I know you know that guy. I know that guy too.
I know that guy.
It's really, really cool.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah. Philip and I have spent a lot of time talking about material science. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's your quintessential geek in the world of material science.
I love it. So I brought him over to kind of check out this Clifton, or not Clifton, one of the projects in on the James River, and it's a 1730s house. And because it's really neat because it's an extreme example, like of the plasterwork that's retained, like stayed on this building. And it's very hard. It was just, I had to show him in person and show him where they were getting the material and all of those things. It was a pretty neat thing to get to show.
Is that from the limestone cliffs?
Yeah. Yeah. So where the oyster, like the shells, you get to see lithification in action, like as you're walking down the beach, which is pretty amazing. I've started telling people I'm not a plasterer. I'm in the rock making business. We're making rocks.
We're making rocks. I mean, it's, and also like, a little bit of a phase changer too,
Yeah, for sure.
Doug Muniz in Brazil, you know what he calls himself?
What?
He's a wall charmer.
Ooh, a wall charmer.
If you knew Dougie, which hopefully you'd get to meet him someday.
Yeah.
It makes total sense with his Portuguese, and just like you get to like take a little travel inside his mind, and then you get to see, like listen to the words that he says and like how he takes his thoughts and he forms them into like his fourth language of English. It's hilarious. And he was like, wall charmers.
I just imagine him like with a flute or something, like just walking along the wall.
Oh yeah, he does that.
Like they charm snakes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were in Marrakesh and he was just like enamored with the cobras coming out of the
Yeah, for sure.
Hilarious. But I remember seeing some photos online of you guys in those cliffs, and then I got a little download from Gabe upon his return about how awesome it was.
Well, it was really awesome of Philip to come over and check it out, because I did like, I think where you come from, where your environment, all of those things factor into what we should be using.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I always, with historic restoration, I really geek out about like matching it exactly to what it was that I find. And most of the time that's a natural building. They were just out there looking for materials and they found them. And then they knew how to refine them and use them to build something.
How do, you're 35, as you said, and you've been doing this for 15, 16 years. How do folks find you?
Oh, it's all word of mouth. I try to keep my phone number and everything offline.
Hiding, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely word of mouth. And I'm pretty selective on the projects that I'm involved in, I think, because I'm really particular. Like I want to make sure that we're doing it the right way. And I pretty much don't veer off of that road very often. And I'll do smaller, more decorative things sometimes. But when it comes to like a historic home, I feel very protective of them in a way, like very, very protective. I just want to make sure that they're going to be okay.
You're a bit
after I'm gone.
You're like a bit of a conservator as well.
I would say, yeah, probably a little bit. I just want to make sure that the building's protected, and yeah.
What do you think, like, when you're cruising around in your natural world and you're working on these houses, like, what's the farthest from where you live now in West Virginia? Like, what's the farthest job you've traveled to, on the Eastern Seaboard?
Oh, up and down on the Eastern Seaboard, I would say. Well, it's kind of nice because most things are within a 6-hour radius, I would say. Because you think about like where did the settlers land, and they were pretty on the East Coast. And so a lot of our historic buildings are pretty localized, I would say, unless you get out Southwest and then you get Adobe and really neat things like that.
Yeah. Have you done any restoration there?
I don't typically go out West. I'm a mom, so I can't really travel too far from my family unless they come with me, so.
Have you guys been on any trips together? Professional trips?
Yes, definitely. Somebody will just watch them. I'll always rent a house wherever we go, and they love the old stuff too, for sure.
And then, if you're leaving a place, 6 hours, like you can get into quite the different, socioeconomic demographic. You can get into different architectural styles.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
how do you kind of continue on with just like finding inspiration to keep going, working on a house where you're not exactly in tune with set aesthetics of that home?
I don't even necessarily think it's aesthetics that would keep me from a project. I think it's more of material and I don't know, the story. I think obviously like the relationship that I have with the client and the builder is an important one. I'm pretty of the motto, like non-stress, like it's pretty zen that the job site is a happy place to be. It's like, it is typical that those just kind of fall into my lap, I would say.
Are you working primarily like only entirely on the plaster of these homes? Like all plaster restoration, or are you doing any other sort of facets?
Right now, I think I have in the past, but just because I do have young kids, it's really a lot easier for me to focus in on one thing versus try to do a bunch of different things. Mm-hmm. And I imagine like as they get older and I have a little bit more free time and a little bit more mental energy, that I could start getting back into some of those things for sure.
So it's primarily just plaster.
Yeah.
Got it. And the plaster that you're working on, I was talking to Pete Dandelos the other day. Do you know Pete?
I do know Pete from a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's great.
Oh, yeah. He's a wild man. What's up, Peter? He's doing a little bit of work on the Hemingway house down in Florida. Okay. And we were talking about, all this plaster, and they're going to do lime plaster, but then it's going to be painted.
Like acrylic paint?
Well, it's like really trying to push them away from the acrylic paint, and I'm kind of getting them hopefully steered in the direction of some of our Habelga, which is essentially just, carbonates and lime, and it's essentially just like lime plaster without the aggregate.
I can't stress to you, because one of the reasons that I do geek out with historic materials and looking and researching what's working is because I get to see firsthand what fails and what destroys a building pretty quickly. So that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I'm so protective of it, is because a lot of times in my line of work over the span of what somebody's done in the past 20 years has done far more damage than anything that they've done in the past 200 years. So I do get to see the damage done by inappropriate materials, and it's pretty noticeable. It's pretty easy to tell. So why spend all of this money on a restoration only to do that at the end of it? Yeah. So I really am I think that's what I mean when I'm pretty selective about a project, is that it's like, we got to follow it all the way through, right? Like if we're going to do materials that are protecting the historic bricks or things like that, like there's a reason that these materials are there. And there's a reason that they've lasted for this long. And I'm pretty okay with like educating and talking about it forever about why those things change and why those rules, like industrial materials, sometimes just are too hard or just do not work with historic systems. And it's pretty easy to point out the science, I think. So if a client is open to that and hearing that, then that's the right project.
Those are you're in alignment with those folks.
Right. When it's also just, it's one of those things where it's important, it matters. I've seen bricks destroyed and wall systems that have to just be torn out, and mold and the rotted timbers and rotted trim.
We were talking like a lot about, the right way. And if you could like conjure one moment, like what's like the most wrong way thing you've ever seen before? And then what sort of ripple effect occurred from this?
Oh man. I would say I get to see it on all over. the concrete plaster on historic bricks is probably the most aggressive one. And it's not that concrete.
Do you gasp when you see that?
Yeah, there's a few times where it's mostly like heartache, because you know that the bricks underneath it aren't strong enough to survive. Mm-hmm. Because it's just one of those things where I don't think that anybody intentionally did something wrong. I think that it's just maybe didn't know. So I think I feel heartbroken about it. But it's not that concrete's bad. It's just that through history and throughout, one of the things about natural building that I really do love is it kind of gives you an idea of like, what did they use? And it helps you see things in an array of, I don't know if I'm saying that right. You get to use natural materials, and natural materials work with these things, right? So, and one of the things that works with that is it has to be breathable. It has to be flexible. Like if you imagine a natural system, that's just kind of what happens in nature. Mm-hmm.
It was interesting when we were there in Morocco working on that project, and then, these Cadillac guys come in and they just start grabbing cement and they're coating these columns. And we're all kind of staring at them like, what the hell are you doing, dudes? Like, what's going on here? So then we got the interpreter involved. And like, they just had it in their heads that like this modern Cadillac is like done over the top of cement. And we were telling them like, look, there's nothing wrong with cement. Cement's great. It's beautiful. I mean, we're so happy that, the advent of its technology. Yeah, it's been used. However, like in this particular application, and this is where Gabe Franklin stepped in and was like, we need to celebrate like on like materials.
Yeah, it's super important. And like, I would just mimic nature. Yeah. Right. I love that.
Mimicking nature. Sure. That's good. And
if we're not mimicking nature, like if we're building our houses out of steel, or if we're building it out of something that we couldn't mimic in nature, then we don't have to mimic the materials in nature the same way. Mm-hmm. But if it is a natural timber framed house or old historic bricks, then we have to mimic nature.
You have to mimic nature, and you have to, there's a reason that the house has been there for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah. Well, one of those things that you see in old houses is that they were always meant to just allow moisture in, allow moisture out, right? Yeah. And the moment that you talk to like maybe a construction person now, it's how do you trap that moisture? How do you keep that moisture out? How do you seal it? And that just really wasn't the way. There was moisture, but it just allowed it to come in and allowed it to go back out.
Yeah, there's egress. It's like a pass-through entity. I mean, a lot of these houses too, where they're, crazy vapor barriers and stuff. I mean, I currently live in one. It's a beautiful house, right downtown Bozeman, and I love it, and it's happy, but, the house was
we didn't build like that.
Yeah. But the house was too tight for a while.
Yeah.
So, like, we would be having a wood-burning stove going, and all of a sudden, we'd turn on the fan in the kitchen, and it would start backdrawing from the stove. And then, essentially we put in like an ERV system so that we're able to bring fresh air in and push the bad air out. And, as much as I do love the house, I do kind of wish that it did have some natural buffering that, exists in one of these natural homes.
Well, I too also live in like a very, in a cul-de-sac neighborhood kind of house, for the kids, I always say.
Yeah, doing it for the kids.
Cul-de-sac neighborhood. Yeah. We're doing it for the kids. Yeah, but it's okay to say, hey, there's 2 different systems, or there's 3 different systems. It's just understanding the foundational basics, I think, of the material science. And that's all it comes down to. I'm not here to say one's worse than the other or anything like that. But I do know if somebody calls me for a project and says, hey, I have these 1700s bricks, there's concrete plaster on it. Like I would be like, remove that, get rid of that. This will not work with a system. And there's kind of like a set of, what will work. And I think that's where I come into play.
Yeah.
Is that area.
So
just making sure it's protected.
So you show up, you research the house, you do some forensics, and then it's time to get going. How big is your team? Do you have a large team, or is this all solo work?
We can grow and shrink as we're needed. Gotcha. So I'd say that's the best thing, because we can just, it's almost like the community of people that you can call and be like, hi, come, you want to come to Williamsburg for 4 months, or do you want to come do this? And it's the way of like community working together. I think
expansion.
We all become like a little family.
Yeah.
Well, Plaster is like a big family.
Oh yeah, big time. And we're nice and flexible, and I always tell everybody too, like we'll get the hammer put on us by somebody, like this has to get done, blah blah blah, and it's just like call the Ocean's 11 team, like they'll be here. And we're gonna rock this heist. We're gonna steal from the Vegas casino, and we're gonna get this done.
The A team.
They're gonna show up, and then when I'm called, like, hell yeah, I'm in. Like, what do you need?
Yeah.
What do you need? Like, you need me to be rocking finish coats with you. I'm gonna have to turn my phone on airplane mode if that's a thing, because it's gonna ring too much. Or do you want me to like clean 10,000 buckets in the backyard? Like, whatever you need me to do, I'm here for you. Thank you for being there for me when it was time. And you're right. It's just like a big family, and like,
it's a big family.
Nobody's more important than another person. It's just,
I always say that. So I'm pretty adamant about, like, I like to pay everybody the same, no matter what job they do, because somebody that's bringing us materials is just important as the finished plaster on the wall. And that's kind of like my motto, is like, everybody works really hard, and we're all working together to try to create something here, the end product. And that's like, everybody's equal there.
Yeah, exactly. There was a guy, I think John F. Kennedy, was rolling through the NASA space station, and he's like rolling through with a news crew, and they said he stopped as he was kind of leaving the facility, and there was a janitor there, and he was like coming out of a bathroom, and they said, "Hey, sir, what is your job?" And he said, "My job's to put a man on the moon."
Aww.
And it was like, dude, that is awesome. It's like, we're
awesome.
all going after the same exact thing.
Everything. And it's just, you need all of those pieces in place to have a successful project. And if they're not there, you feel it. You can feel it. If I have to carry all my own buckets inside and put the plaster on the wall, I can feel it. So I think that all those jobs are important.
Speaking of putting plaster on the wall, you have a unique approach to your application.
Ooh. Controversial.
Yeah. Like, when I put plaster on the wall, I take a modern day bucket scoop, and I put said scoop into said bucket, remove plaster, apply it on a hawk, take it from a hawk and put it on the trowel, and move my hand left or right to create whatever sort of design said designer has chosen.
Right. To be fair, though.
Yeah.
I do the same thing with finish systems, right? But not base coats.
Okay. Well, share with the group what you do.
Okay. I basically just put gloves on and scoop it straight from the bucket and roll with it. It's so much faster.
And you take it with your left hand.
Yeah. And I just scoop probably more than you can fit on a hawk into my hand.
Okay.
Scoop it.
I'm doing it. Vincent's doing it too. Vincent's.
Hold it, and I just throw it on the wall.
Yeah.
And also, Will and I, Philip's son, are going to race in England, I think. So maybe we could film that.
You're going to race on a.
Yeah. We're going to have a plaster race. He thinks his way is faster, and I think my way is faster. There was like this whole debate online, and it is really interesting, all the comments. And so in the comments section, there were a bunch of women that were like, "Oh my gosh, I do the same thing. It's so much faster for me." Versus all the men in the comments were like, no, this is blasphemy. Yeah. So maybe, just maybe, we're really flexible and we can just grab from the bucket, throw it on the wall and just roll with it versus you guys. So there's something to it if there's a bunch of us doing it.
Yeah. Ain't nobody got time for that. It's just, we don't need that. Just get rid of it.
Okay. Well, I'll say I don't like walking to a table, scooping the material on my hawk and walking back over.
Oh yeah, I don't do that.
I feel like that wastes time. Yeah. Like, so I just have somebody bring me a bucket. I'll throw it straight from the bucket. And by the time I'm done with that one, hopefully there's another one sitting there. And that's just how I roll.
Okay. Okay. Noted.
It's so fast.
So fast. Now, it begs the question, you were talking about your favorite trowel being the Japanese trowel. Have you ever cut your hand while using it as a hawk?
So many times.
Yeah.
Oh, no, cut my hand while I'm...
Yeah.
No, I would say no, definitely not. The only time I've ever cut my hand is when I've carelessly tossed my trowel into a water bucket and the water is higher than the trowel. And I've just, went to go clean my hands one time and jabbed it right into the trowel.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's the worst.
I had this guy one time, he was working for me for a while, and he's a good dude, but he just wouldn't friggin' listen. And I was like, dude. And it was like right before lunch, and he was cleaning his trowel, and he took a sponge and he pretty much put the sponge, put it in half, and then he took the trowel and just did this, and it just sliced right through the sponge like a hot knife through butter, into his hand. And then he's like, oh no, what do I do? And then he takes it and he moves it. He's like, you want to see? And he shows it to me. And then it's just blood everywhere. I'm like, dude.
No.
So now we have to redo this wall. And then also I have to take you to the hospital and paper stitches. You've really screwing me over, bro. I know. Yeah.
No, that's, I mean, it's just, I bet you he won't do it again.
Well, he doesn't work for me anymore, so it's perfect.
All it takes is one time.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, gosh. No, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy.
If you had to look at all the buildings that you're in, and you had to think of the future, and you had to think of if it wasn't plaster when your kids are older, and you wanted to involve yourself and get kind of engaged a little bit more in some of these buildings, what's one thing that you really want to get your hands on?
So I kind of do a lot of these things, just not for money, anymore. But I love staining and tile, and I pretty much renovate my house, and we have another house that we're renovating, and just do all these things on the side anyway. But tile for sure. I love tile. The more intricate, the better. And then even floor finishing, I kind of love that also. Stain matching. I can match any stain ever. I can just look at it and match it. And then finishing, I just have always been around building, and pretty much anything I love about it. I love building. I love just creating something from nothing. And the job that I have right now is just, plastering, but I do all of it, I guess.
And what's you're kind of hunkering down right now. What's your next job that you're going to, and when is it?
It's always feels like a job's never finished, especially with restoration. There's usually phases. So a project oftentimes is broken down into several phases. So with 4 Mile Tree, for example, or the restoration down near Williamsburg, it's just now going into the next phase. So we'll be working on the addition plaster. And then we have a project that is about 20 minutes away from here. It's about a 10,000 square foot, 1830s building.
Oh my.
All the plaster has pretty much been removed. I went through every single room and did an analysis on all the walls before. If you went into this building when we went in, it looked like it was perfectly good condition. You could move in it. You could live in it. You would be really happy there. But as I started to investigate, all of the plaster that had been put up was either a gypsum plaster, that was done in the 50s, or cement plaster that was done in the 1920s, or some more modern finishes also. And all of those finishes were on historic bricks. And our restoration is taking everything back to 1835. So I tested every single wall, every single ceiling, and found the original plaster from 1835, and everything else was removed. Every other wall. So there's 2 ceilings that remain and a few walls that remain.
Yeah. So, and you're replicating the plaster from 1830.
Yep.
With your own mix.
1835. Yeah. Yep. For sure. So we'll make it pretty much identical to that.
Period specific.
Yep. And also I got it tested for like minerals and things like that. So you can see one of the things that I would say that I noticed in every single historic house that I've ever worked on. And I know this is different for Phil and everybody over there, because he did bring me some of those 1600 samples, and they are very like white and pretty and very dense. But here, when you look at restoration or the plaster that's lasted, at least the plaster that survived, typically it's all a completely different color. There's not a single white sample unless it's for a finish coat. So they're mixing it with their site clays. They're mixing in, brick dust and all of these different things. So I geek out about analyzing those and dating the plaster to that time period and matching what's in it for that. It's just one of the things that I really love to do. And it also starts to tell a story. So after about 30 samples that you see that they're mixing in their site clay and it's very bright red, you're kind of wondering, why is this plaster so much stronger than this plaster over here that's lighter and didn't necessarily withstand the test of time, but this one has. So then it starts to paint a really neat, interesting picture, at least to start asking questions. And that's probably where I geek out the most.
Yeah. What happened here? And
but also like what minerals are in it. How are those minerals working together? I geek out about that kind of stuff for sure.
What do you think the future holds for you?
Well, I'm just going to keep, well, I think I'll probably keep plastering because I love it. I might incorporate some more decorative things. Like I love tile and I also do a ton of decorative plaster. Actually, I just put, your plaster in my, mudroom upstairs.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah. It's really pretty. It looks really good. It's like when you first come in the house and you turn to the left, it's our little sitting area. Yeah. It looks really good.
Beautiful.
So, I mean, I imagine I'll just keep doing what I'm doing and see where it takes me.
Sure.
But I do know one thing that I really, want to continue is like, I'm trying to create just an easier pathway for people like me, right? That don't have to just go out and try to create their own artisan journey. Like it would be really wonderful to just continue with trades and teaching and all of those things to just bring more artisans into it.
Yeah, that's kind of been our situation too. Like how do we take these, 2 decade plus years of experience and then how do we give folks access so that, there's like a little bit of a fast tracked approach to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What about personally? Anything fun?
Personally?
Family time?
What do I like to do for fun?
Yeah, no, but like family time. Like what do you got coming up next with the fam?
I would say, holidays are coming, obviously. Yeah. So that's a big one. We definitely are a board game kind of family, or we play games all the time. So
do not say Settlers of Catan or I'm leaving.
Well, they're a little too young, I think, for that. But we do like Dancing Queens and we just love picking weird new games. And I would say we spend most of our evenings just, hanging out, playing games.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fun.
But with the holidays are nice because they get off of school and we'll, get to spend more time.
Sweet. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you over and over again for being with us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Been, pure joy. And
thanks for having me.
I encourage everyone to give it a try. Put your hand in a bucket and put it on with a trowel. Just don't cut yourself.
Listen, I will make a video and show you how we do it.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
We can have like this is how we do it. It's the background.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I mean, don't knock it till you try it.
Okay. Noted. Let's end on that. Don't knock it till you try it.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Yep, that's right. All right. Perfect. Well, thanks again.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Thanks for listening, everyone. That was a fun one. Please tune in next as we link up with Russian bas-relief artist Vasily Isakov. We'll chat wild upbringings in the Eastern Bloc, as well as formative thoughts and designs in the world of engineering, arts and entertainment, and the blank slate that is his sculptural plaster muse. Until next time, cheers!